Yo, what's up? It's 3.8 Blight League and I am back with another 100 map video. 105 actually, this time. So, I'm back in Siege again. Siege is on the menu, so yeah. And the reason for Siege is it's a very good tier 50 map. And let's check the other maps first, if you have any other options on your mind. So Siege doesn't have any kind of cards or a special drop in it, but it's one of the best maps in the game for mob density. So you kill a lot of monsters, and that's what important. But the most important thing, I guess, if you are doing a higher tier map, because that's how you get map sustain. Dark Forest is not too bad, but because there are some cards in it, but it has way less monsters compared to Siege, so I didn't pick that. Cause is bad, Colonnade is also bad. Canyon is a good layout, but also compared to Siege it isn't good. You can of course go for some shaped maps. Moon Temple is very good, but I recently did Moon Temple in 3.6, so I didn't want to do that. Most of the other maps are not that good. There are no very expensive card drops in any of these, so you should pick one with the one you know. You just pick the one that you like the most. So I'm gonna mention about Siege, and also I prepared a spreadsheet again. We will check this very quickly, and I will also share this in the comment description. So make sure you check that if you don't want to watch the whole video. So let's talk about the profit first, so then I will start explaining. You can see the profit here. It's like 20 exalted, and of course I didn't count some lucky drops again, so it is actually more than this. So this is the approximate, profit you can get in 110 maps maybe. I did 105. So let's see. First of all, I will go through these very fast because I didn't sell most of those, so maybe you want to see some loot. These are the maps. Of course I ran most of the sieges, so I don't have much siege left. I sold most of the Guardian maps today. These are all the ones that left. You can see I have lots of Chaos and Exalted, so I sold most of those. And these are the currencies. There were some more alterations, but I used them. Lots of Divine Orbs. The reason for that is there is a sextant which makes unique monsters drop corrupted items. So once you get that, make sure you put warbands for 2 casts. That way warband monsters sometimes drop 6 link. That's why I got lots of Divine Orbs. 2 exalted, nothing that much, special. Not that special. And 1 ancient orb. Let's go. Just some random cards. I didn't even count these in the calculations because these are all random. I didn't get any lucky drop or anything, but I didn't count them anyways. Just some gamblers, some eyes. They don't worth that much. The base, I mean, but I just kept them. And some other juicy stuff. So these are the oils. I got 1 golden, which is like 190 chaos, I guess. This one is 25 chaos. This one is 10 chaos. So some decent money from oils. We don't get much Legion encounters anyway these days, so this is all the splinters. I actually put some breaches on Bloodline maps because I don't. It doesn't make sense to put Bloodline on Bloodline maps again. So this is why I have lots of splinters. I have actually a lot of cello splinters, which you don't get most of the time. So these are decent. And for these ones, if you are wondering how I got that much gilded scraps, I will explain how. It is of course RNG based, but once you get the, what's that called, heretic something, I guess, the ghost sextant, once you're using your red sextants, you sometimes get one called something heretic or something like that, a ghost scarab, okay, and it will say possess monsters drop scarabs. So if you get that, make sure you buy a possess foe prophecy. Let's see if I have one here, this one, and use warbands again because they are unique monsters. That way all the warbands in the map, if you proc, of course it is RNG based, that's why I am telling, if you can proc the possess foe in that map, all the warband monsters will have that ghost from the sextant. That way they will drop lots of scarabs, and they are all gilded. So this is how I got all these gilded scarabs. There are like almost 200 chaos here, which is a very big profit. So try to do that. I actually managed to proc only one possess foe. So this is from only one map. If you manage to get possess foe in 3 maps, because sextants last 3 maps, you know, you can get even more scarabs. So that's where the RNG comes in. Let's talk about how I did my maps, and I will take a sneak peek to this. You can check this after the video yourself. I won't go over this that much. So of course you chisel your maps, alchemies. Chaos spamming is actually a little cheaper these days, so if you have chaos, just roll with chaos. If you don't, score an alchemy. What you want is at least 80 quantity. That's how I always do my maps. So these are all bad. I don't even read if they have bloodline or anything. I just want high quantity. If you get a 78 with both bloodlines and nemesis or maybe beyond, you can do that. But I roll them all the time. So this is nice, 94 quantity, very nice. Another very nice map. So I keep rolling these kind of maps until I hit something good. Okay, so this is actually something that I wanted to mention. This is a decent map, but it doesn't have any bloodlines beyond or nemesis in it, because those monsters can drop guardian maps. That's why we want them. But this has some good quantity, so I don't want to roll this anymore. So what I do is I wall these ones, and there we go. We have a 8 modded siege now. So you can wall orb the ones above 80 quantity and nothing that much crazy to get unidentify 8 mode, or you can get sometimes guardian maps, Maze of Minotaur, I guess, most of the time. Uh, so you can sell those or do those, I don't know. So you can consider wall orbing those kind of maps. And that's how I did all my maps. I currently have 3 sextants unlocked. I will unlock the 4th one soon, but I didn't bother. I just wanted to start farming, so 3 sextants on siege, uh, 1 on Colosseum, 1 on siege, and 1 on Defiled Cathedral. You can also put 1 here if you want. It doesn't really matter as long as it covers. There are lots of options. It doesn't matter. Just use 3 sextants. If you have 4, just go for 4 sextants because it makes some difference. It totally worth it. So Just go for 4 sextants if you have. What you want is, of course, more monsters, cold monsters, chaos monsters, lightning monsters, stuff like that. Additional barrels are nice. Ghosts that I mentioned earlier with possessful prophecy, they make some crazy money. There are also essence sextant and beyond sextant. Those are nice. Stuff like that. Also, if you get hunted traitors, which is very rare, I only got one, you can use your highest quantity map on them because there are lots of additional monsters in those maps. And one extra thing to mention is there is also a sextant which is called Nemesis monsters drop 3 additional currency. So make sure you always save 3 maps with beyond on it. If you, in case you get the Nemesis monsters drop 3 currency, it says Nemesis, so you want to put Nemesis on those sextant maps. That way the map will have both Nemesis and beyond, so you will kill lots of rare monsters, and all the rare monsters drop 3 additional currency, so you will get around, it's all RNG based, but at least 20-30 chaos loot from every map. So that sextant makes around 70 chaos maybe in 3 maps, and there is a really high chance that you will get a divine orb, annulment, or a exalted also. So make sure you save those beyond maps, high quantity beyond maps, and use Nemesis from the Zana for those sextant. That's very important. For sext Zana mode, I always use bloodlines because magic monsters and rare monsters also has the chance to drop tier 16 guardian maps. So that's how you should do that. You can put Nemesis, I don't know, I never tried it to get, Headhunter maybe. Bloodlines is the one I always use. It is 3 chaos, Nemesis 4. Probably Bloodlines is better for map return. You can also put warbands that I mentioned earlier on some special sextant maps. If a map has Bloodlines, I go for Breach because I want to get the challenge. That's why I am using it. You can pick something else if you also need that challenge. Where is it? Yeah, this one. Chayula outside of its domain. You can go for Breach. You can also go for Harbinger. They are nice. They have a high chance of dropping maps actually, and also they drop lots of shards. Maybe you can get some exalted annulment shards or even a mirror shard. So Harbinger is also a very good option. And for fragments, I am using 2 fragments. Any of these 2. Just use whichever you have. Dusk is most of the time the cheapest. So try buying some of these and try buying them in bulks. Most people sell at least 10, so it isn't very hard to buy sacrifices. And I think that's it about the map rolling and how I did those. Let's check here, maybe I missed something. Zanamot, also prophecy, yeah, I will mention this. I normally don't use prophecies because they are a little hard to buy, but in PoE app website you can actually buy them in bulks, so I recommend buying some if you have the money. They are 3 chaos. The prophecies of course are Tempest prophecies, lightning falls, ice from above, fire from sky. These ones add 30 quantity in the map. Of course they have a chance to proc when you go in the map, so you won't have these in all of your maps. I only managed to get 20 of them in 105 maps. They don't proc most of the time. If a prophecy don't proc in 3 maps, I usually seal it and use it again. Sometimes that helps. So 30 quantity is very nice because they are 3 chaos. I think it is a very cheap option. So try buying some of these from PoE app website. Yeah, that's all the things about rolling the maps, and yeah, that's all. So let's have a quick peek to the loot, then I will end the video. So you can check this one on your own if you want. So let's take a quick look. These prices sometimes change depending on the league. So this is the value table, so this changes sometimes. Currently the Exalt is 152 or maybe even less. I didn't check today, so it's around something like this. So 2 Exalted, 12, 11 divines. I couldn't even count. Most of these are from the corrupted sextant, as I mentioned earlier. So compare it with warbands. Some annulments, 1 ancient orb. Actually nothing that much crazy here, except the divines. Some people even get like 4 or 5 exalts, so it's all luck. And before forgetting, I want to mention my character. It's also written here. So it's a Deadeye, a Wind Reaper, 1 Sedemas Touch, and 1 Ventors with 9 quantity. You can of course go for more if you don't care about dying that much, or if you have a better gear than mine. Because it's a tier 15 map, so monsters have lots of health. You don't want to struggle that much, or it won't be very efficient for you. So if you keep dying due to low health pool or lack of damage, just go for more damage, even replace Sadema and put on a Tomb Fist. Intimidate helps a lot. This is how I did it. So it isn't a very crazy quantity character, so you can even go for more quantity and get more loot. Let's check the maps. That's probably the most desired thing to check in this kind of videos. So these are all the sieges I got, and this is all the Guardian maps, so most of the money comes from Guardian maps. They are 20k at the moment. Hydra is 19, other ones are 20. Tier 15 maps are still expensive. They most of the time go for 8k, but it is still very early in the league. So this is the price at the moment. And we have a lot of tier 14s also. Probably the third quantity prophecy helped a little because I am doing this kind of farming every league, and there are also videos on my channel. I most of the time get less low tier maps, so maybe the prophecy helped because I don't use prophecy normally. These are the cards. Of course I didn't mention the other cards like humility, vanity or stuff like that because they are all bonus loot. I don't want to count them. So this card actually drops from Siege. It's the card for Chinsol Bow, which doesn't worth anything. But I mentioned it here but didn't count the price, so if you are wondering that. Gamblers and Encroachings, that drops almost in every map. So there isn't much income from cards. These are the oils. We got 1 golden. Some decent money from oils. And these are from the scarabs, that from the ghost. And these are the unique maps. I have some Poor Joys and Maokun and some of these. So these are the other loot. Some decent money. Most of the money is from the scarabs that I showed earlier. And yeah, Splinter is nothing that much, crazy. Uh, yeah, I think that's it. If I forgot anything, if you want to add ask something, you can message me in game or just leave a comment below. And I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time.